There are places so far from the rest of the world they feel almost unreachable, where getting there means crossing oceans, deserts, or ice fields, and where modern life feels like it never arrived. These are the edges of the map, where nature is still in full control. From islands hidden deep in the Pacific to frozen lands at the bottom of the planet, we're exploring the 10 most remote places on Earth. Some are so isolated, most people have never even heard of them. Let's get into it. Aitutaki is a small island in the South Pacific that feels almost hidden from the rest of the world. It's part of the Cook Islands, sitting far from major cities and surrounded by endless ocean. The island is just over 7 square miles, but it offers some of the clearest water you'll ever see. Aitutaki is famous for its lagoon. It's calm, warm, and framed by small coral islets known as motas. Many of these motas are uninhabited, so it's easy to find a stretch of sand with no one else around. The water is full of tropical fish, giant clams, and the occasional sea turtle drifting past. Life here moves slowly. People ride scooters instead of cars. Meals are unhurried, and the biggest decision of the day might be whether to swim, snorkel, or just sit under a palm tree. Being here feels like stepping away from everything, with no rush to go back. Socotra is often called the most alien-looking place on Earth. This Yemeni island lies in the Arabian Sea, hundreds of miles from the mainland. For centuries, its isolation allowed plants and animals to evolve in unique ways. About a third of its species can't be found anywhere else. The most famous is the dragon's blood tree, with its umbrella-shaped canopy and deep red sap. The island also has strange desert roses, rare birds, and white sand beaches that meet turquoise water. There are caves, cliffs, and rugged mountains, all packed into an area small enough to explore in a few days, though the rough roads mean travel here is slow. Socotra's remoteness isn't just about geography. Political instability in Yemen means the island gets very few visitors. Those who make the journey often say it feels like traveling back in time, to a place where modern life hasn't taken hold. Svalbard sits deep in the Arctic Ocean, halfway between Norway's mainland and the North Pole. It's one of the northernmost inhabited places in the world, and life here is shaped by the extremes. Winters are long and dark, with months when the sun never rises. Summers are bright and short, with the midnight sun glowing around the clock. The main settlement, Longyearbyen, is small but lively, with colorful houses, a few shops, and a strong sense of community. Outside town, the landscape is raw and dramatic: glaciers, frozen fjords, and sharp mountain peaks. Wildlife is everywhere, from reindeer grazing near the road to Arctic foxes darting across the snow. And yes, polar bears roam the area, which is why people are required to carry rifles when traveling outside settlements. Getting to Svalbard isn't hard compared to some places on this list, but living there, or even visiting, means adjusting to an environment that's as extreme as it is beautiful. The Namib Desert stretches for over 1,200 miles along the Atlantic coast of southern Africa. It's one of the oldest deserts in the world, with landscapes that look both harsh and beautiful. Towering red sand dunes rise against a bright blue sky, shifting with the wind into endless patterns. Some parts of the desert are so dry they've gone centuries without significant rain. Yet life still survives here. Oryx antelope roam the plains, desert-adapted elephants follow ancient migration routes, and tiny insects collect water from morning fog. One of the most striking spots is Dead Vley, where blackened dead camel thorn trees stand frozen in time against a white clay pan. The contrast of colors, deep orange dunes, pale ground, and dark trees, is unlike anywhere else. The isolation here is intense. You can drive for hours and not see another person, only the shifting sand and the vast sky above. About 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, the Galápagos Islands are one of the most famous remote destinations in the world. Their isolation allowed unique species to evolve here, inspiring Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. The wildlife is the highlight: giant tortoises that can live for over a century, marine iguanas that dive into the ocean for food, and blue-footed boobies with their bright, cartoonish feet. The animals here aren't shy. Many have no natural fear of humans, so it's possible to observe them up close without disturbing them. Each island in the Galapagos has a different personality. Some have volcanic landscapes with black lava flows. Others have white sandy beaches or dense green highlands. Reaching the islands means a flight from mainland Ecuador, and most travel between islands is by boat. The limited access helps protect the fragile ecosystem, keeping it as wild as possible. Kamchatka is a far eastern peninsula of Russia that feels completely cut off from the rest of the world. It's surrounded by the Pacific Ocean on one side and the Sea of Okhotsk on the other, with no roads connecting it to the rest of Russia. The only way in is by air or sea. The landscape here is wild and untamed. Towering volcanoes, many of them still active, rise above dense forests and wide rivers. There are geysers, hot springs, and even glaciers. Brown bears roam freely, and the rivers are full of salmon during spawning season. Tourism is limited, and much of the region is still undeveloped. Traveling here often means taking helicopters to reach remote valleys or hiking through rugged terrain for days at a time. Kamchatka's isolation has helped preserve its raw beauty, making it one of the most pristine wilderness areas left on the planet. The Faroe Islands sit between Iceland, Norway, and Scotland, but they feel like a world apart. This group of 18 islands is known for steep green cliffs, dramatic sea stacks, and weather that can change in minutes. The population is small, and most people live in small villages where turf-roofed houses stand against the wind. Sheep are everywhere. In fact, there are more sheep than people here. The isolation of the Faroe Islands isn't just about location, it's about the atmosphere. Even the largest town, Tórshavn, feels quiet and slow-paced. Outside the towns, it's just rolling hills, narrow fjords, and the open ocean. The islands are connected by tunnels and ferries, but some of the smallest ones can only be reached by boat or helicopter. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world. Sitting in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, about 2,200 miles from the Chilean mainland. It's best known for its moai statues, massive stone heads carved centuries ago by the Rapa Nui people. The island is small, with a few villages and a single main town, Hangaroa. Beyond that, it's open grassland, volcanic craters, and rocky coastlines where waves crash endlessly. The remoteness of Easter Island gives it a feeling of mystery. The origins of the moai and the history of the island's ancient society are still partly unknown, which only adds to its intrigue. Getting here takes a long flight from Santiago or Tahiti, and once you're here, the ocean stretches out in all directions with nothing in sight. That sense of being truly in the middle of nowhere is part of what makes it so special. Antarctica is the ultimate remote destination. It's the coldest, driest, and most isolated continent on Earth, covered almost entirely in ice. There are no cities, no permanent residents, and no roads. The only human presence comes from temporary research stations and the small number of tourists who visit each year. Reaching Antarctica usually means a ship crossing from the southern tip of South America, often through the rough waters of the Drake Passage. Some visitors arrive by plane, but even then, travel is highly dependent on weather. Once there, the scenery is like nowhere else. Vast icebergs, towering glaciers, and colonies of penguins stretching as far as the eye can see. Whales and seals thrive in the cold waters, and the silence is almost overwhelming. The lack of infrastructure and extreme conditions make Antarctica a place that's only visited, never truly settled. Patagonia stretches across the southern end of South America, shared by Argentina and Chile. It's a vast region of mountains, glaciers, wind-swept plains, and turquoise lakes. Towns are small and far apart, and the distances between them are huge. In Chilean Patagonia, places like Torres del Paine National Park offer dramatic peaks and glacial valleys. On the Argentine side, there's the rugged beauty of Los Glaciares National Park, home to the famous Perito Moreno Glacier. Wildlife includes guanacos, condors, and even pumas in the wildest areas. The weather here can be unpredictable with strong winds and sudden storms, but the clear days reveal some of the most stunning views on Earth. Patagonia's remoteness comes not just from its location, but from the sense that nature here is in full control. And that's our journey through the most remote places on Earth, each one a reminder that there are still corners of the planet untouched by the rush of modern life, waiting for those willing to go the distance. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for more incredible destinations.